Welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network. Tonight, we're going to talk about brass prep. And because we're talking about brass prep, figured we'd enjoy an adult beverage or two. So,
You got a license for that thing, Mike?
yeah, I do. I'm fully licensed to carry this. For those of you who don't know what that is and what that means, you'll have to Google it, sorry. But I just cracked open a Twisted Tea. So, but see, Travis, I'm safe. This isn't the extended magazine version. This is just the normal capacity. So it's even California legal.
California compliant, huh?
That's right.
What place you talking about? I thought the only place I know over there on the left coast is called California.
That too.
Oh,
Yeah,
same
that too.
place.
So it's been a while because we took last week off because we're a bunch of slackers. Something about some holidays and stuff like that here in the States. Thought we'd be a bunch of slackers to take a week off. But we're back. So, what's everybody been doing? Jason.
Well, I don't know, not much. I think I figured out why Travis doesn't like 40 Smith & Wesson. During the holidays, I was watching some Christmas movies. My wife likes to play the Christmas movies. And suddenly it just dawned on me. I bet what happened is Travis went to his mom and said, "Mom, I'd like a 40 Smith & Wesson with a compass in the stock." And she said, "You'll shoot your eye out." And so he just decided he hated 40 Smith & Wesson from then on. That's what I think happened.
Well, I did find a good use for 40 brass, and they make excellent packing peanuts.
40 brass makes excellent packing peanuts.
Yes.
Interesting.
So maybe if I ever get a package from you, it'll have a bunch of 40 brass in it, huh?
So it literally is going to have 40 brass as the packing peanuts, yes.
Okay.
So, I did a little bit of playing around in the reloading room. Didn't really do any reloading. Tried to finally get around to drilling those holes for my Dillon 550, but unfortunately snapped the drill bit off. So if y'all want to see something cool, you can see what it looks like when a drill bit snaps and goes skipping across the metal. It leaves a nice little cool mark. So let me get this shut up here and we'll show you. Because, everybody's broke. Well, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people have broken drill bits over the years. And you kind of want to see what it looks like. So that is what happens when you snap off a drill bit. It goes skittering across, then off. And that's what it looks like.
That's pretty good, Mike.
Thank you. That's what happens when you try and use cheap drill bits.
Yeah.
So, other than that, not a heck of a lot. Mostly working still Cabela's and a little bit for the school district over the holiday. But yeah, that's kind of pretty much what I did. Trying to do a little more organizing in here. Sharenda showed us some awesome pictures of her organizational skills, and I said she needs to come up here, and then she said she'd probably just take everything with, so that wouldn't work. But
It's not stealing if I tell you ahead of time.
true. Very true. Nick, what you been up to?
I actually did quite a bit this last week, and actually 2 weeks. Loaded up with Dad 550 rounds of 223.
Nice.
Picked up 2 new rifles, and went and picked those up today. Bought 2,000 primers for $40 a brick,
Not bad.
and 5,000 bullets. 223.
Nice. Not a bad haul there, sir. How about you, Travis?
I loaded up some special 223 rounds for my bolt action. I feel like I did a bunch, but I can't think of all I did. I have been processing some 9mm pistol brass, which is one of the topics we're doing today. I did post a new video up on our channel, so if anyone's interested in going seeing a new review of the Frankfurt Arsenal Universal Seating Die, go over to the channel and check that out. But yeah, other than that, just the normal everyday reloading stuff that I do, nothing special.
Good job on the video, by the way.
Thank you.
Except for the music. The music sucked. And thanks for the shout out on the video too.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to actually see that there is a package waiting for Jason, there's a little Easter egg in there. You can go on and check that out and see that there is a package.
Nice.
Supposedly. There's a box and you said it was mine.
Allegedly.
That's true. It is just a box.
Allegedly. All right. So, Sharenda.
Well, as y'all can see, I'm in a totally different room. It's got a little cold in my garage, so I had to finally clean out my office that's been a storage room for the last few months. So I got a couple tables over there. I can bring the reloading presses in and get some stuff done when it's too hot. I'm sorry, not hot. Well, too hot or cold in the garage now. I did reload some 9mm. I got some got some practice I need to do. And I'm going on a mentored hunt this weekend, except we're taking youth this weekend. So the youth get to hunt for doe. And then once they get a doe, then I may get one Sunday. We'll see. So I resighted in my scope because I couldn't remember if I took it out earlier this year and put it back on. But I also have the SIG BDX system that my friend made me borrow, and she won't take it back yet. So I may actually play around with that this weekend. Well, Travis is forcing me to, even though I told him I don't want to love it, but he's forcing me to.
So, what is that?
It is the scope and the well, it's in my safe. I can't get to it. It's the scope and the rangefinder. They sync up to your phone so you can get some ballistic data on your round and your harvest. And it does a bunch of other stuff. Like I literally
Nice.
did not like delve too much into it because I don't want to love it. It's like $1,000 setup.
Yeah, the nice thing, it's the Sig Sauer. It's a specific one. You have to look. They do sell like a couple combos. If you look at the one that you've got, Sharenda, it should say on there like BDX.
Yep.
And the nice thing with the SIG BDX line is you have the rangefinder, and the rangefinder communicates with the BDX scope. and you can range whatever target. So let's forget that for a second. So you just take your scope, just like normal. You zero at all that stuff. Let's say you zero at 100, and then you go out and you take the rangefinder, and let's say you want to shoot out to you range something at 400 or 500 yards, and the rangefinder will send that info over to the BDX scope, and it will adjust the holdover and stuff for you. And I can't remember, does that one say it's like the reticle? Does it say just duplex, or is it like an actual BDC reticle?
I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read this little fine print. The print I can read, which I'll pull up the specs. It's the key. So the scope is the Kilo 1800 BDX, and the rangefinder is the 3 BDX. Lord, I just called the B and 8.
Well, the rangefinder is the the rangefinder is the 1800 series, which is
yep,
1800 yard series.
You're right.
And then your scope, that one right there, I'm guessing is the 3 by, what is it?
It's
3 by 20.
4.5 to 14 by 44.
4.5 by 14. Yeah, that's the one of the higher end in their line. I think that one's like $800-900 for that setup right there. So yeah, but that's kind of the nice thing is they communicate with each other, and it'll send the range info to the scope, and then it will actually change. It'll lead. It's just that your reticle doesn't change, but it does put like a red dot, I believe, wherever the info from the rangefinder is.
Oh, and you can also enter in the data for the round that you're using too.
Yes.
So you can tune it in even more based off that.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat setup. I want to get hands on one before I purchase one, but
I don't want
to. That's why I want you to tell me how you feel about it.
Trenda said she'd loan you hers.
It's not mine.
Well, you let your friend know if maybe you could just lie to her and say you hate it, and then sell it to me at half the price.
Hey, she's had this thing sitting in her closet for two years. She won it. She's never used it.
She don't even need it then. Perfect.
No. Yeah, and I'm like, let me buy it. And she's like, oh, you can borrow it. And I'm like, well, shit, I'm sorry. I don't want to use it because I don't want to love it. And then when I love it, you take it back.
Well, I guess you got first dibs, but I'm second in line then.
Okay. But Travis, if I had that, I will let you borrow it.
Perfect.
For a good 6 months until the next rifle season I need it for it pops up.
What kind of rifle are you going to put it on, Trenda?
My 243.
You going to put a fancy scope like that on a little dinky 243?
Because that's all I have, Jim, is a little dinky 243.
Yeah, don't listen to Jim. That's not a rinky-dink rifle. The 243 is an excellent rifle.
It's an excellent caliber for groundhogs and coyotes.
And Jims.
Ow! In other words, you knew I was twisting your tail. Good for you.
Right.
Trenda, what's the difference between a duplex reticle and a BDC reticle? Do you know?
I have no idea.
All right, that's fine. Duplex reticle has the hairs are two thicknesses. Down at the bottom and top and on the outside, the periphery of the scope, it's going to have a wider hair. But in the center, it's going to be a thinner wire.
I still have no idea what you're talking about.
Basically, Sharenda, do you know what the BDC reticle is? Like when you look through one, it's going to have like let's say this is the crosshair, and then it'll have like some have dots or hash marks going, underneath it and stuff. Mm-hmm. So then a duplex is basically there is no drops, no dots, no hashes. It's basically just a crosshair.
Oh, okay.
What does it? It should say on that scope box if you still have that sitting next to you.
It does.
Because the one Palmetto State Armory right now has a sale on one of their BDX line, and I think it's their 3.5 to 14, I believe, but it's the lower. lower end setup, but it's only. I don't like it because it's only the duplex. They don't have any other reticles in that line.
Well, this one's not familiar. The image on what I'm used to seeing. I don't
It
know.
would
if
look
it's-
roughly like that, Shrenda. That's a
Yeah.
duplex.
Okay. But
I
see,
guess I
this
could.
one also has 3 additional dots on. Dang, can you see that?
Well, if it has any dots whatsoever, perfect. Come.
There we go.
Yeah.
Can you see those yellow dots?
Yeah, that's not a duplex reticle. It's close, but it's not. It's not a traditional duplex. Nick had a picture up there. He hand drew.
And
Of
those
the,
actually light up too. When I was playing with it in the house, those dots actually light up on this scope.
Oh,
That sounds like a range finding reticle.
We'll find out Sunday.
Mike, put it over on to Nick for a second, if you would, please. Nick, hold that picture up again. That's a duplex reticle, Shrenda.
Can you zoom in on that? Okay. Yeah, I don't think it looked like that when I took it out the box. It's been a few weeks.
so Nick, under those fat fingers of yours, is there another reticle?
I started to draw a BDC, but I haven't finished. So
Yeah, I hope that. Nick, you couldn't make 2 straight lines.
I was rushed. My circle actually turned out pretty dang good. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, so Jim, if you remember a long time ago, the duplex reticle used to actually be real wires, right? And
Yes.
they did have a tendency of actually breaking.
Yes. The old Redfield reticles were famous for that. Or should I say, infamous. There we go. There's some rifle scope reticles right there.
Seeing if I can.
Can you zoom that in a little bit more?
I don't know if I can or not.
Shrenda, if you want to do that, press the control plus the plus key. Once Mike gets it up where he needs it, you can do your own zooming in.
Yeah, but it looks like shit on my shitty work.
I
computer.
don't disagree, but you won't be able to read the text, but you'll get the idea of the reticles. Press the left F11 key, then control plus the plus key.
Yeah, I have an Apple. I'm not sure how to zoom on it.
There
Do
we
you
go.
have Control Plus? There you go. There you go.
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
So here's your duplex. Notice how it gets thinner in the middle. And then here's your fine duplex where the outer ends are a little narrower. You got all sorts of different duplex. Your regular crosshairs. This really isn't the best of.
What Travis is talking about is the bottom left corner, Leupold, Varmints, Hunter's reticle. That's kind of a range finding reticle. Or, Travis, what'd you call that?
I don't remember. What are you talking about?
BDC.
BDC?
Yeah.
With
That's
the
kind of-
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well-
kind of BDC. Ooh, geez.
Well, yeah, the one right there in the center, the green one, that's more of like a traditional BDC right
Yes, that's MilDot. MilDot or MOA dot. That's MilDot there.
So here's a little look at. Fine, be the pain. I want.
So, I don't-
pictures.
So, Mike, I don't know who, if you look over Facebook user, that's pretty interesting if what he's saying right there was actually correct. He says crosshairs used to be made out of spider web at the
Yep.
beginning because metal wire would break. It was too brittle.
He's
That's
right.
true, huh? Huh.
Cool.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but this gentleman said it for us. There's another kind of range finding reticle, the Horus H25. It's also capable of helping you dial in wind drift. but you have to be quick with the eyeball on that because you pick out a particular one, it'll give you left to right windage and of course elevation.
That was Tim Callis that said that. So, yeah, these are kind of. So here's your mil dots. That's another couple of different option ones. This is one of Vortex's more common ones. But I mean, as you can see, there is all sorts of different options.
Yeah, Jim, you can also program in your environmental conditions on the app for this range ponder and the scope too.
Yes, absolutely. Because if you could dial in 5 mile an hour, left to right wind, or vice versa. Reading the wind, that's purely black magic.
Depending on how far you're shooting and whether you have any sort of wind indicator.
Mm-hmm.
So, here kind of gives you an idea of a better picture on that that windage one. So it kind of gives you a whole grid system and everything. So you've not only got your drop going downwards, it also gives you a little bit of rise because depending on where you sight in, you may actually have some rise.
That's right. Shooting downhill, you usually do.
And then, and also then it's got your adjustments for different windage. Theoretically, for those of you who are wondering why it's such a narrower section here versus down here, the farther out you go, the longer the bullet travels, the more it's affected by wind. So that's why you have more adjustment here versus up in here. So, and then this is a kind of a simpler version of that. So it's not as, it doesn't have as many options for going downwards, and it definitely doesn't have as many options for windage. So, but those are from Schmidt and Bender, which if you don't know what Schmidt and Bender is, you need to fix yourself. So, Schmidt and Bender is one of the top scope companies.
Yeah, most of us don't have Schmidt and Bender money though.
I didn't say you had to go buy it. I said if you don't know who it is, you need to fix yourself. Because I know most of us don't have Schmidt and Bender money.
Yeah, that's right.
Heck, even their binoculars and stuff are outrageous.
Well, there's a reason, so. I'm just looking to see if I've got any other descriptions, and more specifically if there's any SIG. Which I don't see, so. But I mean, yeah, you can just type in reticle and you get a whole bunch of stuff. So. So there's kind of that. Jim, did you talk about?
No, I haven't. The only thing I really did was just take a look and see what I got to start doing. Spent the time with my wife and on the phone quite a bit, visiting a few friends over the holidays. We talk guns, of course, but that's.
I mean, that's kind of expected.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, Sharenda sent a link for the scope. I'm just looking to see if they have a picture of the reticle. No, I don't want a SIG 516 upper assembly, dang it. Unless you're sending it to me for free.
Nope, they didn't.
Well, it's nice is Yardstream is now allowing links, or StreamYard's allowing links now.
Well, that's in the private chat too, so.
Right.
No, I don't see any.
I'm just looking to see if the manuals do.
Yeah. So.
Nope. The only thing I can honestly lay claim to is keep my Ruger SR40C nice and warm against my hip.
There you go. So. So Idaho Rogers.
Eating good too, Jim.
Say again, Travis.
Say you also eating good.
Oh yeah, Travis. What'd you have in your hand a while ago? Some kind of long tube.
Oh no, Sharenda was we were just talking about GoPro stuff, and I told her she's looking for a solution. It's not going to work for her, but I got a GoPro hooked on the end of my shotgun.
Hey, that one looks familiar.
Oh my
Yeah,
God!
the GoPro's not in there, just the case is. But yeah, that's on the.
I'm gonna try to
Tube.
draw y'all a little picture on how this.
And
scope
the
works.
GoPro accepts the recoil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I was going to say, Sharenda, you probably wouldn't want to do it, but you could take some Velcro and kind of put it on your shotgun somehow,
Have
and
you
then
watched your damn mind? I'm not putting no Velcro on my over under. Y'all see how much of a prima donna I was being about it, putting it together for the first time.
I don't think she's going to use self-adhesive tape. You know what, Travis? You could wrap that up with some of that blue masking tape. Sharenda, there's an idea. Wrap it right on the wood stock of the finish of the stock of that shotgun.
like here's the easiest solution, Sharenda. Just either take one of these, the clamps you got, and just put it right on wear a hat, and just put it right on your hat, or use the actual headgear and do that.
His head and his hair. Hats
Well,
don't stay on it anymore.
just pull some of your hair out and just clip it right to your
Right
hair.
here.
So Idaho Rogers, he says all this newfangled stuff takes away from good old marksmanship. Know your gun and how it shoots. Adjust on the fly. So Idaho Rogers, he has a YouTube channel, and he posted a video this week. Had all the stuff I enjoy. Chainsaws, a bunch of shooting in there. What else did his video have? Idaho Wilderness had some wildlife. You guys should go and find his channel. It's the same as his username there.
I have a question for Idaho. He's talking about marksmanship, which is a great thing. Idaho, can you shoot one MOA with that M1 Garand at 100 yards?
We're going to be waiting a while before he answers.
He already answered once. Oh
Yeah.
Lord, please don't.
But that's the comment. That's the comment about Travis sending people to his. So, yeah, it'll take a while. But so anyway, Sharenda, I know there's a mount out there somewhere. I'll figure out where it is and get you a link for it. There is a mount that it will hook onto onto an over under.
Oh, I would greatly appreciate it because I don't have a problem with it on my semi, but over under.
Right, because you can't the mount that you would use on the semi wraps all the way around the barrel, which you can't do on the over under.
Yep.
Yeah, the one you're talking about, what you're thinking of, Mike, it's not an actual clamp. It's kind of like a C clamp type. I've seen it too. I know which one you're talking about.
No, I'm looking at this. That's a Sportsman's, but I don't know if that's going to work. It's like $80. So,
Did you see GGW
Yeah.
reloading?
yeah, he said he's hearing an echo.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time even talking because I'm here as I'm talking, I'm hearing myself repeated horribly, and same when any of you guys talk, it's repeating. So
I'm not hearing an echo.
yeah, for some reason you're the only one that I'm not hearing an echo from.
Strange. But I mean, I'm not hearing one at all. So I'm not going to be any help diagnosing.
Yeah, I see that. So on that scope, those aren't actual visible lines. You can see what the other gentleman referred to them earlier, like spider webbing. You can see the image, and when you're using it, it will light up on the crosshair point you need to be using, and then there's some tapering lines that'll also glow some dots on it too. Right, where's my finger at? Whoop, right there. So there's not there. It looks like basic crosshairs, but if you look at it at an angle, you can see where the digital lighting will show up at on it.
Huh. So it sounds like if it has those lines there, it kind of tells me that it's almost like a preset point versus like actual,
Hmm.
like true ballistic data coming from that rangefinders. Kind of sounds like it might get you close, but not actual true reading then from the from what the rangefinder's telling the
No,
scope.
that's what it looks like.
You'd have to do some testing to verify that for us. You probably wouldn't want to, but you'd have to kind of do oddball, like shoot some known distances, like 200, 300, right on the money, and then do odd ones like 240, 236. Just mix it up, and then that'd tell you if it's kind of goes, kind of pre-programmed hash marks, I guess.
Yeah, I'll throw that on my 22 rifle, and then try that. No, I'm just kidding. I'll see what I can play around with. I mean, I got a few 243s out. If I shoot 10 of them, it's not gonna be the end of the world.
Yeah, and I think that 243, it's a nice flat shooting cartridge too. That's gonna be you'd almost want like a 308 or something that had more arc to the round.
Now, if somebody wants to mail me one of those, I'll test it out for them.
Hey,
Hold on to it for a little
tell you
bit.
what. Tell you what. I would mail you or your friend a brand new snazzy 308 to your FFL in exchange for that nice scope and rangefinder.
I would message that to her because she definitely loves guns.
Yeah, I would trade her a rifle.
Send me the specs because that's
Brand
what she's
new.
gonna ask.
Pick one. I don't have one. I'll buy her one.
Trust me, Travis would be getting the better part of the deal.
Mike,
Jim, you
I
keep
know-
your dirty mouth shut here.
I know I'm cuter than you guys, Mike, but I'm kind of tired of looking at myself.
Well, speak for yourself. Nick is a handsome fellow.
Yeah, but he ain't as good looking as Shrend is. It's getting deep in here, though.
Shrend, I was trying for ratings. All right, come on.
Jeez, they don't. In some circles, they consider that kind of practice. Never mind.
Hey, if it'd get us some primers. Just
There we go.
kidding.
Travis, there you go,
Hey.
Travis. Now
I-
she's sweetening the pot.
Hey, I'll mail some primers, but they're gonna be at gun broker prices on my end.
Good Lord. So you gonna sell me like 100 for like $5,000?
Well, what's that? I said $800. So what is $150 a brick right now on gun broker?
Ridiculous.
I'll do 5,000. I'll do 5K.
5K. Well, see, she doesn't reload.
So
So you're
there's-
slacking.
Well, then, Shrenda, you not been carrying your share of the bargain because you need to teach her to reload.
She ain't interested.
Yeah, I know. That's a common story around here, too. I've offered 5 people to learn to reload. Not one of them have taken me up on it.
I actually got some people that reached out to me, so next month I'll be doing some stuff. I got some giveaway stuff too for some ladies.
Oh, Mike, if you would, highlight Idaho Rogers for me, his very last comment. I asked Idaho Rogers if he could shoot a minute of angle at 100 yards with his rifle. I asked him if he was using an M1. Of course, he said he'd no. He's using an M1A. And his answer is, Jim, it's still got a sloppy military chamber by design of the rifle. Someday we might upgrade the barrel. Thank you for the frank answer, Idaho. That answers my question. And the answer, of course, is no. Not with iron sights, anyway.
A PC Bullet Empire. I told Nick that earlier too. I was about ready to message him and be like, "There is somebody behind you," like one of those scary movie scenes.
Yeah, but it's a headless somebody. So Nick's kind of safe. Zoom in on Nick for a second, Mike, would you please? Yep, go ahead on that. You know what? He's probably got some those Nepalese Gurkhas around him. That's why the guy got no head. Well, Nick's guy likes military weapons.
I actually went and picked up 2 military rifles today. So
What'd you pick up?
a 1891 Argentine Mauser and a Japanese Type I Carcano.
Okay. What caliber is a Carcano?
6.5 Jap.
Okay, and the 1891, I think you said.
Yep, it's 7.65 by 53 Argentine.
Ah, okay.
So it's a 311 diameter bullet, but I'll use 312 bullets.
Nick, I can't remember. Do you cast too?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, yeah, you would have to with most of the stuff that you are acquiring.
Yeah, a lot of them I have to cast. Some of them I don't have to, like M1 Garand, I don't have to cast for. 1903 Springfield. But like a lot of these other stuff, like one of my Vetterli, you're not going to get a lead copper plate or plated bullet for that gun at all. So
Shrenda, are you casting yet?
Not yet.
But you're slowly working your way up to it, right?
Yeah, I think I have everything equipment wise to get started, except for I gotta go pick up a cast iron pot. Brown side.
Are you going to do the dipper thing?
Yeah, I have the
Yep.
dipper.
Okay.
I have the dipper, and I need to go get some powder coat, or I need to order some powder coat because I did find a toaster oven.
You're not going to be. Jim's asking if you're going to be.
No, I
basically-
didn't. No, I didn't ask nothing like that.
No, you did. You asked if she's basically going to be ladle pouring,
Okay, I did ask that.
and
Yeah.
you're not going to be doing that, are you, Shrinda? You have a pot, a bottom
a
pour
pot.
pot.
Yeah, but I'm gonna play around too.
Okay.
So I do have a pot, but I do want to. I bought the ladle, so I want to play with the ladle. Okay. But yeah, I'm gonna predominantly use the pot, but I do want to tinker around with the ladle. So here's the thing about women: we like options. So I want to try it both ways, and then like the next lady that comes along, shut up, Travis. The next lady, if I show one of my ladies, they're gonna be like, "Well, what's this other way?" And I'd be like, "Oh, well, here, let's go try this over here." We're nosy by nature.
Curious.
That's
not
why I
nosy.
said it. No, we're
Curious.
nosy. We're nosy.
I agree, but I'm trying to be politically correct. Remember, guys, this all comes from the rose that's surrounded by 5 thorns. Anyway, are we going to talk about the topic tonight, or are we going to continue shooting the breeze?
I don't know. You guys just keep going on and on and on. So, anyway, so we're talking about brass prep. And it's kind of a little different because we're talking about handgun. So there's not as many steps involved typically.
I know the first step,
What's that?
acquisition. You got to acquire some brass. Oh, Mike has acquired himself a box full.
Dang, he's organized tonight.
Look. What size is this? Ooh, it's 45. How fun. I think it's all 45. So I got brass. What do I do now?
Well, you have to inspect it.
Okay.
You have to take and check for cracks. You have to check for foreign objects up inside of it, like a dead ladybug or a stone.
And you actually got 2 options to go from here now. So your first option is to deprime all that brass, not size it, but just deprime it to get the old spent primer out. So then you could tumble and clean it. Or the other path, because you can see that brass Mike's got, it's pretty dirty and nasty.
Mike, hold it up a little higher, or take off the Idaho's highlighted comment.
So you can just see that container. That's a good specimen right there of what we come back from the range with. And you can see how dirty that is. So what I do, and let's see what the rest of us on the panel do, but I prefer to decap and then clean it. What do you guys do?
I generally leave my primer pockets dirty.
I decap.
So you're a dirty old man, Jim.
Yeah. Oh, we know that. 45 auto.
What do you do, Mike?
Depends. First, I try and get the camera to focus.
Well, actually, Butch Williams is 100% correct. When I was doing a bunch of 45 ACP brass, the first thing that I did was grab handfuls of it and start sorting it from large primer and small primer, because that is a real pain to be running be running large primer and then you run across some that are small primer.
You mean like that?
Yep, just like that. And that's what other like 9mm you don't run across this, but 45 they have large and some have small primer.
6.5 Creedmoor.
I haven't
308.
seen. I was going to say 308 Palma ammo.
I think that's the common ones. So, and as you can see, it's kind of not real easy to tell on a quick look which is which. So,
The only reliable way I ever found with that is use my primer pocket cleaning from Lee, my primer pocket cleaning tool, and I try to stuff the large end of it in a small primer pocket, and it will not work. Now you have to use like a go no go gauge, because if I go that, I'll wind up mixing my brass anyway. Go
after you get like Mike's got a whole bunch right there, and after you start
Travis,
grabbing,
this one's for you.
Oh, it goes right in the trash. After you've been doing it for a little bit, you start grabbing handfuls. Your eye gets pretty calibrated to what it's seeing, and you can go pretty quick and sort it out. But like I say, I like to, because I don't want to run that. I hope people don't run dirty brass through their sizing dies, but I like to decap. Jason likes to decap, and I can see a lot of the people in the chat, they like to decap and then clean it because, frankly, I prefer to get my brass as clean as possible, and using the wet tumblers, it really cleans those primer pockets out really nice. But you don't have to do that. You can, like I say, there's a fork in the road right where Mike's at right now, and you can choose your own path.
Yeah. So, and there is some 40 in here as I'm looking closer. So
yeah, those 40s, that's the thing. 40s, just like 380s, they will find their way. If you think you've got just a bunch of 45,
double trouble in Mike's hand, right there, Travis.
If you have 45 brass, guarantee you there's some 40 mixed in there. If you've got 9mm brass, I guarantee you there's some 40 mixed in there.
Yep.
You just can't get rid of that
inside
stuff.
The 40, inside the 45, with the 22 inside the 9.
Yep.
I've had that, and it's enough to make any man cuss.
Indeed. Ooh, shiny. So this one here, the dent stands out really obvious.
Doesn't hurt a thing.
Nope, not like that. In a pistol, it's not going to matter as much. It is creased, but more than likely, it'll probably size out. So,
Mike, show us a ding that will scrap the brass.
I don't know if I have one.
Are you willing to sacrifice one?
Yeah, I don't know if I got anything to ding it with, though.
Well, like oval brass, as long as you can get it up in the mouth of the sizing die, it'll still work.
Yeah.
Mildly oval, not real extreme. Nothing with a crease in the
Oh, here we go.
face. Yeah, that's just about that'll go in.
Yeah.
They'll flare right out.
That's still good.
Yep.
This one, however, not so much.
Junk. That's junk. I would try to iron it out, but again, too, you got to inspect it after you size it and flare it.
Right.
So here's an annoyance of mine, and like you just said, Jim, you're gonna take the time and effort to save
Annoying.
one piece of brass.
Travis has an annoyance. No.
Just chuck that thing. You'll find some more.
So,
This isn't the apocalypse. We can afford to chuck a piece of brass every now and then.
but if you did want to keep it, it's actually pretty easy to save.
Yes.
Travis, you haven't seen my scrap brass bucket.
You haven't seen my scrap brass bucket either.
True.
So
You have a barrel. I have a bucket.
it's actually pretty easy to save something like that. You just
Yeah,
take
see-
a little bit and
Here's where I would agree
Quick
with what like Mike's showing you how to save a piece of brass. I called like that 45 he's got in his hand. That's a common cartridge, but like Nick, he might come across some pieces that are more valuable and harder to acquire. So then that's when I would do like Mike's doing right now, and probably try to save that.
However, that is not savable.
Scrap.
So,
That's fine, Mike. What are you talking about? You could braise that.
right. I purposely did that though. This is the one that I just straightened out a little bit and I took the pliers and yanked on it too hard. So that kind of shows you. Hi, Gracie. Hang on a minute. Hang on. So that kind of shows you how easy it is to schmuck brass.
I do remember a time when brass disappeared for a little bit too. And I would save anything I could find.
Was that this millennia?
It had to
I
be.
think so.
Had to be because Jason didn't start reloading until after the year 2000.
Yeah.
Actually, after the year 2011. You haven't been reloading that long, Jason.
Oh, sorry.
10 years.
You want me to hang up?
No.
There, is that better?
Well, that looks a lot better.
Bite me, old man.
But in all fairness, none of us have been reloading very long when compared to Jim.
Thank you.
I mean, he might not reload now, but
Jim precedes reloading, so
No, that I don't, because the original reloaders were black powder shooters. They reloaded in the field every time.
yeah, but you were around when Moses was leading them out of Egypt, so as I said, you precede reloading.
I
Thanks,
don't
Jim.
understand.
I know
You
I'm
want me to
number
turn
one.
it up? You want me to turn it up?
I know I'm number one, Jim.
Or increase the volume.
Oh, you do have two. I've got a task for you.
Never mind. Don't go there. In this crowd, I know exactly where that was going.
Has something to do with you, your fingers, some
Stop.
orifice, and you walking on your
I
elbow.
can't hear you. La 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 la. Why? I can't hear you. Anyway, we're back to brass.
Back to
right?
brass. Okay, so I'm feeling lazy, and I'm not going to throw this in the tumbler. I'm just going to load it as it is. Well,
some of that brass is seriously dirty, Mike.
not really. It's all good. Come on. I mean,
No. Some of the grit that I saw on the walls, some of the oxidation. No, that stuff's been in the field too long. You
Yeah.
need to polish it back up.
here's what's nice.
come on.
though.
That looks fine.
We as reloaders and stuff, we can set our own schedule.
I
So-
said,
it looks
I
fine.
said you have to inspect it, Mike. My God, that goes to Travis's scrap barrel.
All right.
Yeah.
So, as people are actually going to, for those of you who are listening, you really got to watch the video to kind of see some of this brass. This one's got some corrosion on it. I'm being facetious in all this. Actually, I would run this through the tumbler first. Here's another one that's probably going to go scrap because it's got some corrosion on it. You know, you'll find some of these. Ooh, here's a double scrapper, Travis. It's got, according to you, it's got 2 reasons to get scrapped.
Yeah.
You're really gonna throw that in the trash? Oh,
No,
No,
the only one that's getting thrown in the
40 case.
scrap is this one that I purposely damaged.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure there's some local crafting groups that would take your trash.
Yeah, no, I'm going to throw all of this in the tumbler at some point in time, and we'll see. But I'm guessing those couple that I pulled out are probably going to not be usable. But
what I was going to say was we can set our own schedule, and there's no reason to like rush stuff. So like that bin you got right there, there's no reason you couldn't take the time and throw it in your tumbler,
Right.
and clean it. What I actually do is PC Bowl Empire and I, it sounds like, do this the same. I clean mine twice. So I clean it first and then I deprime it. And then the nice thing about us doing it ourselves is we can make our own time. So I say just take the little extra steps and clean that brass. I mean, everybody likes a clean piece of brass.
But there's your rim shot for that horribly bad joke. That's even listening to dad joke. All right.
My kid has a book full of stupid dad jokes I tell her.
So there's some great comments when you guys are watching the video. So Ray Rowden said use those 40 cal shells for swaging 44 mag bullets. So there you go, Travis.
Whoa. We might just have found a use for that 40 brass.
There you
How
go.
does he know that? We don't even have a 44 mag.
Yeah, but he knows the bullet diameter and the case diameter.
True.
So it's going to average about 430.
Nick, did you say we don't have a 44 mag?
I know he doesn't. I know that. I know what he has in those safes at the house.
Maybe he's got a secret safe you don't know anything about yet. Keep your
Yeah.
paws off of it.
I lived in that house for 24 years. I know what's in that house.
Maybe it's not in that house, Nick.
Yeah, maybe it's not in the house.
Dad might have a secret.
Might be on layaway. After all, Christmas just went by.
So I worked at the gun store I worked at for 4 years. He just found out like a week and a half ago we do layaway. So he does not have a gun on layaway. And if he had on layaway, I would know about it.
Who says he's going to patronize your gun store?
Nick, when you move out your parents' house, there's a whole nother side of them that comes out that you may accidentally walk in on. That you will never unknow again.
Wow.
Your dad probably has that 44.
Oh my! Talk about adult conversation.
See?
You don't know everything I have. That's what that was coming from Nick's dad, Ray.
Yep. All right. So for pistol brass, typically don't trim it.
Why is that, Jason? Why do we not have to trim our handgun brass?
Well, it doesn't grow like the rifle brass can, like the bottleneck brass.
Correct. Nick, can you tell me why it doesn't grow?
What is that? I had it in my head. I was talking to a guy the other day about it. Oh man, I'm blanking.
Sharenda, do you have a clue?
I do not. I
I know
did at
Travis
one point,
does.
but I'm old now, so I don't remember.
Well, like on a bottleneck case, you got a bigger diameter and then it bottlenecks into a smaller projectile net. I wish I had a piece of brass in front of me. We'll just use this beautiful FW Arms decapping die as our demonstration here. So here's the yep, nice. So let's just say this is your neck, and here's where it goes to a smaller diameter. So all that pressure here builds up, and it will actually stretch your brass. Hence, you've got to trim it because it does, like Jim says, it does stretch. He says grow, and that's what we basically call it, but it actually stretches. It actually, so here's the back of your head, and here's your neck. It actually grows from back here. It grows this way, so it stretches. And if it gets too long, it won't chamber in your rifle. So you have to trim it down. Pistol brass, it's just a straight wall. Most pistol brass is a straight wall, and the pressures don't build up like in a bottleneck. So all that, the gases and everything just comes straight out, and it doesn't have anywhere to bottleneck and stretch your brass.
I agree with Travis for once. Yeah, some make that a ringtone. No, Travis is absolutely right. Except the handgun pressure usually runs 30, 35. That's ordinary stuff, like 30, 35,000 psi. That's like for 30, 357, 44, that kind of pressure. Yes, I'm aware of the fact that there are handgun ammo out there that goes 55,000 CUP or PSI. And that's not ordinary handgun stuff like 40 or 45 or 9mm or anything like that. Now, maybe that 38 Super goes up pretty hot. I don't know. But I don't remember hearing anybody talk about trimming 38 Super brass.
Yeah, I don't. My buddy, he shoots 38 Super. He doesn't trim it. But someone, old 1874 iron in the comments has a good question then.
Again, the old 1874 irons question is 357 SIG can grow then? A little bit. It depends upon the pressure you run your ammo at. I don't think at normal operating pressures it's going to grow very much, if at all. And
for those that don't know, the 357 SIG is a bottleneck pistol cartridge.
That's correct. Which means steel dies only, because very few of us can afford to spend $250, $300 on a carbide die that'll do bottleneck. And even so, it will still require lubrication. We just answered your question, Chico.
Yeah, but what's in the comments? I see a lot of people saying that some pistol brass actually shrinks. Jim?
No, I don't know anything about shrinking brass.
Yeah, I don't either. So I mean, we've got multiple people saying
you've reloaded higher numbers than I have, Travis. And I'll tell you what, if you and I haven't heard of it, Jason, you ever heard of shrinking brass, handgun brass?
I have not.
Mike? That's a no.
Nope.
Yeah, well, you'd have to do some tests, but I haven't heard about it shrinking, but we've got multiple people saying shrinking brass, pistol brass in the comments. Also, I would have to admit, though, that I'm not taking calipers and measuring my pistol brass either.
I don't blame you. Of course, too, you're only shooting at pipsqueak ammo. That's for little guys, little handguns.
Ooh, shots fired.
Over the bow. No, Travis and I are pretty good friends. We beat on each other, but yeah, Paul Loud, it's because of shrinkage. You're right. Your head shrunk, you dog. Anyway, no, Travis and I are pretty good friends. We just beat on each other a lot.
I mean, I don't have a grandfather in my life anymore, so I like to imagine Jim is my grandpa.
If I had a grandson like you, I'd put him in a dress, teach him to speak with a higher voice or something. God, dog, don't hurt me like that, Travis. You as my grandson? Oh my God. The funny thing is, I got 12. I do have 12 grandchildren.
Sheesh.
Yeah. I had 4 kids. that's for a story for another day.
So, Vemjin, he's saying, flash hole deburring on pistol brass worth doing? I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I agree with, again, here's the ringtone. I agree with Travis. No, it's like, it depends upon how much accuracy you're going to try to get out of your handgun.
Well, do you remember, Jim, when we had, I forget his first name, but from Whedon Gunworks on?
Wooden gun works? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So do you remember we were talking to him about his brass prep and stuff, and he said, and I've heard multiple. There's going to be a big debate on this here, but a lot of people say it's not worth doing in rifle brass, and then you're going to have another camp saying that they do it. That's part of their brass prep. So I remember him telling us that he actually has. And I haven't talked to anybody besides him that has actually claimed to have done any actual tests and research, but he claimed it didn't make any difference at all. Deburring flash holes.
I remember that. Yeah, I clearly remember that. Jason, you were on that night, weren't you?
Yeah, I don't recall that conversation.
I believe he's out of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's your problem.
Chico, firing at
Sorry,
you,
Chico.
buddy. I need to get on a visit with Chico.
So Nick McBride wants to know what I need to trim 460 Smith & Wesson due to the high pressure. Check it. Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so, Nick, but I would keep an eye on it. I haven't shot my 500 enough to really see any issues with its length.
Well, that's easy enough. Check, set your calipers and check away.
Calipers.
Yeah, dial calipers.
Oh, I thought we used
Easy.
tape measures.
I got a stick with a pencil mark on it. I just hold it up next to that, make sure it's okay.
That actually would work.
As long as the pencil mark's made correctly, yes.
Shots fired again.
The nice
So-
thing, the nice thing, you could actually use that pencil and stick it right through the case into the flash hole and get a pretty accurate reading.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Jason, stick it in his flash hole.
Up your flash hole.
Oh my goodness.
Now I want that as a ringtone.
There you go.
That'll be $10, please.
I'll give you 12.
All right.
We are ringtones. Ringtones are us.
Oh, good grief.
I mean, you are my ringtone, Jim. When I'm at work, someone calls me. I hear that.
That's
I
your
never
problem.
did. I never did release it, but our good buddy Hunt Shoot Off Road actually made a musical remix. I forget what song it is, but it's a song of Jim.
Yep.
And maybe we'll have to post that someday, Mike.
Yep.
What the hell are y'all talking about? Song of Jim.
It's a song with you in it. You're singing.
I don't sing. So it's a total fabrication. Sharenda, what are you grinning about, girl?
She's heard it.
She has it. She has it. I remember you have
Yeah.
it too.
You're singing on that ringtone.
No,
Yeah,
no,
so.
I don't sing.
Lead Bullet Junkie says straight wall cases don't grow. I have a 500 Smith & Wesson. I'm on my 5th reload with a batch of brass and haven't had to adjust my dies. So,
But have you measured them? Because there's a difference between seeing the growth and
Finish
having
that,
to
Jason.
adjust
Finish
your
it.
dies. Because a couple thousandths of an inch, I doubt you'd even notice it.
probably not.
Your calipers will.
Yep.
Yeah. Jason's just joking about a pencil and a stick.
I use calipers for a lot of things now, even when I'm doing woodworking. Pull
Yep.
my calipers out and check
Oh, yeah.
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're a handy
Yeah.
tool.
Yes,
When
they are.
when reloaders ask what they need to get started in reloading,
Calipers.
I personally think you cannot reload without a set of calipers.
I'd
Mhm.
agree. So,
And why don't these manufacturers who sell starter kits? I don't think there's any of them out there that have calipers in those kits.
Right.
I haven't run across one. Which I mean, you think
I
they
wanna
would just slide it in the box and add another $30 onto it?
I want to say RCBS does.
Well, Mike, you would know because you work at a gun shop and you see more stuff like that come through than
Yeah, but
the
we're
rest of
Cabela's.
us.
We don't carry a lot of brands.
Okay, personal questions for you guys. Do you like dial or digital?
I'm lazy, so digital.
I prefer dial, but I mostly use digital now. But I really like dial.
I like digital until the battery
Yeah.
dies. Then I wish I had a backup dial.
That's exactly why I got rid of 2 sets of digital calipers, is because my Matoyo calipers have yet to wear out. You know,
Wow,
the
Matoyo,
graduation.
huh?
Yeah, Matoyo. You know what? I'm a machinist. You know,
Oh,
I
fancy
buy.
pants.
No, they were expensive, but anyway, Travis, my dial calipers graduated 100 thousandths every revolution. Most
those that-
calipers come 200 thousandths, top and bottom, zero top, zero bottom. That's too easy to make mistakes.
Yeah, for those that don't know, those Matoyo calipers, they are top of the line.
Among the Japanese set of equipment, yes. Personally, I would call my Starrett digital calipers that rely on a battery a higher quality product.
Honestly, I'd rather take those Matoyos.
It's up to you.
And
How
old
old is
iron.
yours?
Say again, Sharonda?
How old are your calipers?
My calipers? You okay, good job. I bought those when I was an apprentice.
Oh,
Oh,
So
wow.
that would be about
That's
1980, 1980-ish, 1978-ish, something like that.
holy!
1780s?
That's impressive.
1978, Jason. Shut up.
Jeez, you've had the same calipers that long?
Yeah, they still are very accurate.
Damn.
Like Travis just said, high quality.
I've got a set of digitals, but I don't like to look at the numbers. I want to look at the dial. I think in the dial, that's just how I learned it. I cannot learn to like the digitals. I just don't want to deal with them. And the one time that I did go to use them and the battery is dead, it's like that's frustrating as heck.
Yeah,
Yep.
and you almost feel like the dial ones are more accurate for some reason.
Typically, they are, because the typically your digital ones are spec to thousandths. Your dial ones are spec to 10 thousandths, even though they don't read it that way.
So old iron. If he says veneer calipers, and those are
Wow.
I hate veneer calipers.
It's because they're hard to read. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yep.
are.
Yep,
If
they
y'all
suck.
don't know what a vernier caliper is, Google it. Trust me, we don't have the time to explain it on this show.
Correct. But speaking of kits, I did verify RCBS's Rebel Plus kit does come with a dial caliper.
Okay, that is. I really wish that they would include those in all kits. They are a must-have. I just can't see reloading without them.
I think RCBS is the only company that actually sells calipers.
Hornady
Lyman
does.
too.
Lyman,
Okay.
yeah.
All
They
right.
might not. They don't probably make them themselves. They probably just rebrand them, but they do sell them.
Question.
Okay.
I know the Lyman calipers, I do believe they're made of plastic. Travis, so what were the ones you named? Are they plastic or metal?
All the ones I know, they're all metal.
I have the Hornady. It's metal.
Thank you.
Somebody does have a plastic one, and I don't remember who that
I'm
was.
thinking it was Lyman.
I thought Lyman was stainless steel, but I'm
Yeah,
not
they're
positive.
They're stainless steel.
All
And
right.
if someone gives you some plastic calipers, you just give those right back to them.
Okay, whoever this Facebook user is, his comment is calipers are not that accurate. If you want high accuracy, you need micrometers. Back me up, Jim. Well, he wants me to break out my 0 to 6 Matoyo calipers, or 0 to 6 set of micrometers. No, I'm not going to do that just for checking brass. But again, too, I've been checking sizes for many years. I think I could tell the difference between 1.210 and 1.120. Besides that, and it depends upon the hands that the calipers are in. You put it in someone with ham fists like me. It's a new kind of C-clamp. I can't back you up, Facebook user, whoever you are. Mike,
Let's
tell me who
do
it is.
Callus again.
Thank you. If you want high accuracy, yeah, I'll go along with it. But you know what? That's pretty hard to mic the mouth of a case down to the head. But he's right. But it's a lot slower. Travis has got, I'll tell you what, Travis is familiar enough. I would trust his measurement. He's familiar enough with those calipers.
So yeah, I mean a micrometer is more accurate than a caliper, but
But you're not going to get the precision out. You won't get the precision out of that micrometer that you will out of that caliper. Once you get
Well, you're
familiar
not going to
with
get the consistency. It's not the precision necessarily, but it's more the consistency.
it. Precision is consistency.
Not necessarily.
Accuracy is not precision. Accuracy is not precision. Precision is not accuracy. They work together hand in hand, yes. But precision is doing it consistently.
I guess you could define it that way.
So just it's along the lines of what we're talking about, but I don't know if you guys remember a while back I was getting frustrated with my primer seating depth, and I wanted a way to measure that. And just for those who are not really familiar with calipers, this set I'm showing you this has got a Hornady bullet comparator in it, so you can measure right through here. There's 3 ways of measuring with a pair of calipers. You can measure, and Jim might correct me on some of my terminology, but basically you can take whatever and measure the outside dimensions this way.
Outside dimensions, inside the jaws.
Yep. And then also if you look right here up top, there is some other ones, and then you can put this inside of something and measure it
That's
there.
correct. Those are called inside jaws.
And then maybe some people don't know, but you got this piece here that, when you open this up, you can see it actually slides out as you're measuring here. You actually use this as a depth gauge.
That's exactly what it's called, Travis.
So you can, if you look, you can put on right here on the base, you can set whatever there. Of course, mine's sticking out a lot farther because I've got 1 inch plus with this comparator in there, but you could actually take that and measure the depth of like a primer or something. Those are not as accurate to get primer seating depth with, but you can use that to check whatever that way. But,
Travis,
yeah.
I must correct you on one small detail.
Yes.
Pick up your calipers again, please. Turn them face around, face the other way. Now put your finger right there at the top of the nope, up, pointed. Okay, you have a 4th place to measure. It's called a step. It's on the back side, and that's where you measure from, that corner. The straight go down, right there. That's where you measure from, and look at the back of that jaw. See that? Right, measure from that surface. See that little step that moves around? Right there. You're moving it as we speak.
Okay.
You can use that for measuring the height of a primer. How far is this damn primer sticking up too high? It's a step shoulder. Yeah. From there.
So you can set it right here, you're saying, and
Yes,
then use this
up to
ledge
that.
right there.
Yeah, that zeroes out.
I did not know that.
That zeroes out.
You can set it right there.
Mm-hmm.
So Travis,
Yes.
with your dial calipers, can you re-zero?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So here's the nice thing. Yeah. So yeah, you can whatever, and that's how when you put in your comparator or whatever, you will want to zero it out. That's a good point, Mike. You want to always make sure anytime you pick up a set of calipers, that's one of the first things I check is to make sure that it's zeroed.
That's right. There's accuracy. There's precision there.
Because it does. So if I pick this up, you see right now I'm zeroed. Okay. So if I go and I pick this up and I'm just going to move this dial. So I pick it up. I don't check anything, right? Well, right there, that is not zeroed.
You're all 5,000ths.
Off 5,000ths. So let's say let's say I just go ahead and start loading everything up and I start using that as my measurements. Maybe I'm new, I don't know, or I just don't notice. So everything I work on now is 5 thousandths off.
Mm-hmm.
And that can, I mean, you could load up, let's say you're doing rifle stuff and you load up everything, or you're checking brass length, like we're talking now, we're checking our brass. And let's say the trim length is 1.725, and you're checking everything and everything's looking okay, but you don't realize you're a couple thousandths off. You load all that up and you go to chamber it and nothing fits. Well, it's because your brass needed trimmed and you thought you're measuring everything in correctly, but you're actually a couple thousandths off. So
Mm-hmm.
the most important thing when I take, and I don't know, this is just something everybody does. You kind of just bump it a couple times, make sure it returns back to zero, and
Yep.
and go ahead and same thing with digital. My digitals are hanging up over there, but you just turn them on, and then they have a reset to zero button, so you can just
Well,
clear 'em.
Travis, when you say bump it up, I hope you mean gently, because you look like you were getting pretty enthusiastic about you. Travis, behaves. Don't do that
I mean,
to your calipers.
I mean, these aren't like high end ones. I'm not. If these were
Doesn't
like
matter. It doesn't matter. You'll wear them out. Don't slam the jaws together like that, please. You're making my hearts jump.
Ah,
Next thing I know, yeah. I have
So-
to commend you on one thing. I do have to commend you. A while ago, I watched you re-zero your calipers.
Yeah.
My God, you got it dead on zero without even looking at it.
yeah.
You must have been looking at your monitor.
Well, here's something that I've come to really like, and maybe Mike, he's really good at his Google Foo. Maybe you could pull this up, Mike, because this is something I'm really interested in. I'm going to actually purchase these maybe tonight. But back to my primer seating depth stuff is I picked up this this from Accuracy One, and this right here is just a basic
It's a digital depth gauge.
digital depth gauge, and the cool thing is these right here. So this one that I ordered, you basic the same thing we were just talking about. You put this depth gauge in there. I don't think this is like the main part to me of this setup, but you zero it out. This one comes with these blocks to zero it out on whatever cartridge you're working with. But you can use this along with some other stuff. This one I bought specifically for primer seating depth. But you can judge the primer seating depth on a loaded cartridge when you're priming them. This has another insert. You can actually put this one in and find the primer depth on a piece of brass that doesn't have a primer in it. The reason I was asking Mike if you maybe wanted to look, because at this Accuracy One, they sell different bodies right here. So most of us are using like these generic Hornady, Sinclair makes them, bullet comparators, and then they have like the headspace gauge, and that replaces this little insert right here. You see that comes out. This is a bullet comparator. They have the headspace gauge, but this Accuracy One, and I probably just need to do a video on this stuff, but Accuracy One sells different bodies like this. Like I say, this one here is for primer seating depth. They make a really nice one that you can get a stand for it for any of these, I'm going to say. But you can replace this stuff, and they have one for like a bullet comparator and a headspace gauge setup. So you could actually put this little setup here with this depth gauge in a stand, have it on your bench, and as you're loading cartridges, instead of picking up your calipers every time to check your headspace gauge and your bullet comparator, your cartridge base to ogive measurements, you can have one of these on there and take the cartridge and just actually push it up into their gauge. They're a little pricey, but I like to have measuring devices of all sorts, and I think, like I said, I think these are invaluable, and I think I'm starting to really like this stuff from Accuracy One.
Travis,
Sorry,
let
I
me
was
interrupt
rambling.
you. You were rambling. Okay, let me go. Let me take you right to where you finished up.
Yes.
How much did that setup you have in your hand cost you?
Which one?
Wait.
This one?
No, of course not.
Jim.
The Accuracy International. Let's be honest with you, Travis. You're not the average reloader. You spend money like water. How much do you think the average reloader is going to spend for that kind of a measuring tool? He's not going to spend the $155 you spent.
It was a little bit more than that.
Yeah, probably more like $355.
No, it was probably like 170-ish, I think.
Okay, the point is, the
Well,
average
but-
reloader just isn't going to do that.
Well, but here's the thing. That was this whole kit, though. This whole setup here. If Mike pulls it up,
Mike is
he
away
might-
from his
Okay.
desk right now.
Okay. This body here, like I was talking about, for replacing this,
Yes.
they sell it for $45. That's a pretty good price. It costs that much because I bought this with this body, with all of these here. But an average guy, and you can buy any, Jim, you can buy any seating depth gauge, like off Amazon or whatever. It's actually this little stuff right here from Accuracy One that makes the kit makes it useful to me.
Travis, do you know what a depth micrometer is?
Yeah, it measures depth.
Yeah, that's right. By the thousandths of an inch, and they're even stare to be considerably less than that would be. I better not say that. I have a set of Matoyo depth mics and 0 to 6. It cost me a little bit more than that, but anyway, 0 to 1 depth mic. I don't know. Even that depth gauge on the back end of the caliper. So I always call it a rat tail, but the people in my shop know what I'm talking about. It's the bottom. It's the depth gauge on the depth gauge end of the micrometer. Anyway, Paul Nelson had an interesting comment. Here it is. Calipers have a problem. It's the operator's heavy hand. He's right about that. Thanks, Mike.
Let me yeah. So he's correct. And like I said, I have a bolt comparator in here. And if you have that cockeyed or not perfectly flat flush on this back surface, you'll get inconsistencies. And if you're pushing too hard, like Jim said, you're pushing too hard, you'll get inconsistencies. But yeah, Nick, thank you. That's and I can't pull that up. I think only Mike can, but I say it was just something that I found that I think is worth checking out for anyone who's interested in measuring devices of one sort or another.
Yep. All right. So now that we've gone down the rabbit hole, let's crawl back to basic pistol reloading.
It wouldn't be the Reloading Podcast if we didn't go down a rabbit hole every once in a while.
Right. So, anyway. So trying to get that comment off. There we go. All right. So the next step is decapping. And you can do that one of two ways. You can either, let me switch my camera here. So you can either use an actual die set with your decapping die, or you can use a universal decapping die. Nice thing about a universal decapping die, the universal decapping die does not care if your brass is dirty. So this is a universal one. This one happens to be from FW Arms, and it's one of the nicest ones I've ever seen. So one of the things you're still going to need is you're going to need a press to use this die. You can get, there's a, Frankfurt Arsenal has a hand deprimer. It's basically kind of like a reverse priming installer, essentially. But so you're gonna need a press if you want to do it on a press and not get that Frankfurt Arsenal hand tool. And then you can't just slide the brass in here because it won't fit. I need something here. Well, what I need is a shell holder. So, sorry, there's a glare there. So this is Lee's Universal Shell Holder Set. And this is the one that's designed for presses. They also make one we were talking about for the hand priming tools. The difference between the two is the press style has this bottom nipple, whereas the one for the hand priming tools is just this piece here. This whole thing's gone. So what we do is we look at our chart. Ta-da! And it tells us for 45 ACP, or in this case, 45 Colt is not the one we're looking for. We're looking for 45 Auto. You won't find 45 Long Colt because technically the correct term for the cartridge is 45 Colt. So you have to be careful when you're looking for 45 because there's 45 Colt and then there's 45 Auto or 45 ACP, which is automatic Colt. Crap, I can't remember what frickin' P stands for. Anyway, so on that one, it's number 11. They've all got stampings or grooves or numbers cut into them. So what you got to do is you got to lift your ram a little bit.
Mike, you might want to expand your picture for this part.
Yeah. That's a little better. So what you do is you you lift the ram up a little bit, and then this just slides right in. Now we've got to set our die, and we're going to use the FW Arms one because I don't want to clean the brass first. And so this has already been set from before. And the nice thing is when you have it set, it works real nice and keeps its, with the lock ring, it keeps its distance or height, shall we say. So then what I can do is normally on a die, you're going to set it to the bottom of the die. However, this has got the spring-loaded centering tool, so you're actually not using that. On this, you're actually looking, and I don't have the ability to zoom in at the current second, but basically what you're doing is you're looking for the pin to come down and go all the way through the die on this. Because we put our brass in, we run our brass up, and it pops the primer out. And then here's your old primer.
Good scrap brass. Not much else, but definitely scrap brass.
Saving that puppy for the anvil, buddy.
You bet.
And for those who don't know what that comment is, go listen to last week's show. So now
Primers can be reloaded, but that's a topic for another show.
Now I checked that, and that's not right. So
Then you must have the wrong caliber in the shell.
yes, I do. I grabbed the wrong one. I didn't put it back where I had it before, so I grabbed the one next to it. That was the problem. Now, as you can see, obviously, with it even being wrong, it still worked because I'm not putting any extra load on that brass. So, but now we've got our primer pocket so that when we run it through our media, whether that would be just plain Lemmy Shine and Dawn in a plastic tub or in the fanciest of wet tumbling setups, it's going to help clean out that primer pocket too. So why would you want to clean out your primer pockets? Travis?
One reason, because you're anal and that's something you like to do.
Okay, what's a serious reason?
Another reason is I would say a good reason to have clean primer pockets is because you get better seating depth for one. You don't have all that crud in there that can build up. If you've ever looked in a primer pocket after it's been fired, it is filthy, absolutely filthy. So having good clean pocket holes gives you nice seating depth, in my opinion.
And I still can't get it to focus.
Yeah, so that actually doesn't look too bad, really, Mike. But if you don't clean your primer pockets and you shoot that multiple times, it just keeps getting, dirtier and dirtier, and it just builds up more and more.
So then what I want to do is once I've deprimed it, I want to take one of these fancy loading blocks and put it in there. Because I'm not going to put it back in the bin necessarily, because I need to know what I have, deprimed and what I don't. So, and then it's just like this. And you just go through and drop them on the floor and pick them up later. And it's just that simple. And then you can deprime all these, or decap, you'll hear it called also. And eventually then you're just, once you get it all done, or you get enough of them done, then you can throw them in your tumbler or however you want to take care of them. So
we're still on brass prep, correct?
Yeah, we're still in brass prep. One of the things I like about this RCBS loading block, if you look, it puts them at different heights. So it makes it a little easier to access. So it's kind of a cool feature. So then, after we get done cleaning them, what's next? For brass prep.
Priming them.
Seating primers.
Is that next?
If your brass is clean, you done decapped it, yes.
Aren't you going to size it?
Oh, we completely skipped. We let the viewers
I thought
down.
you were
Jim.
sizing it.
No, this FW Arms is a universal.
Oh, okay. Then you have to resize the brass.
Yeah. So
I have Mike has to unscrew his FW Arms decapping die and replace it with some sort of resizing die.
Yep. Now, what you can do, because you already decapped it, if you want, and some people will do this. I don't, because it's kind of a pain.
Well, Mike, did you remember to clean out your primer pockets?
That's
After
why I
you decapped
deprimed them and then threw it in the tumbler.
Okay.
So what you can do, and this one it's a little easier than others, is since I already decapped it, deprimed it, I don't need that. Because on a pistol, there's no inside neck to size. I'm just sizing the outside. So I can actually just throw this die up in there if you want. You don't have to. You can leave that in there if you want. So how this works is you grab your instructions, because sometimes die is set up a little differently. For the most of them, it's not. So most of them, it's basic.
Butch Williams got you good. Butch Williams' comment is, Mike needs to stop and pick up the drop brass off of the floor.
I don't want to.
That one's for you, Butch.
There you go, Butch. He's going to give me crap for weeks on that one.
You bet.
So, why do we read instructions in this hobby?
To keep from taking our fingers off.
And
because they usually tell us what to do next.
Correct. So, resizing and decapping. What you're going to do is adjust the standard decapping die. Make sure the expanding button is tight. We pulled that out, so we don't care. Loosen the set screw in the die lock ring and back it off to give you more room to screw the die into the press. So lower the press handle until the shell holder is at its highest point. So right now, handle's up. I'm going to lower the handle, and I've now hit top. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to screw this down till I just kiss that shell holder.
Is that what your directions tell you to do, or is that where you stopped?
It says, turn the die into the press until its bottom edge makes firm contact with the shell holder.
You said just kissing, which means light contact. The instructions say firm contact.
Okay, so make firm contact, but don't sit here and horse on it either.
Yeah, make good solid contact.
So French kissing without slamming your tongue all the way in. All right, cool.
Hey, nasty. I started to say something I would regret.
Uh-huh. So the size die is now adjusted for either full link or neck sizing and decapping. Screw down the lock ring and tighten the set screw. So now it says for adjusting the die, with the shell holder at its highest point, turn your TC die into the press until the die's bottom edge is just the thickness of a matchbook cover away from the shell holder. Sorry, it says form here, not from. Typos. Tighten the die lock ring and set screw. Your TC die is ready to use. So. At any rate. So that would be your tungsten carbide. Sorry, size dies. So it's a little different for those, which is what these are. So I'm not going to actually leave it like that. I'm going to back it off just a smidge. So I'm going to get that matchbook cover. Matchbook covers usually 10 to 15 thousandths. So anyway, so now what we got to do is you can use your set screw on here to tighten that. Usually for pistol, I won't. But I'm going to take my brass, I'm going to put it back in here. And I'm going to try and size a 45 with a 9, so that's not going to work.
No.
Because I forgot this is the 9 dies. 45s are out in the garage still. In a Lee turret. Or in a Lee press. Sorry about that. Okay. So theoretically, that's how that works.
Since you haven't decapped a 9, you might as well put it and leave it in there. Is that a 9 shell holder?
No, it's a 45. So I'll pop that out and grab a 9 quick. Because I have a 9 right here. So for my 9, I need a...
Butch Williams has got a good comment. It's tad to the side, TC, tungsten carbide. If you bottom the TC die too hard, you can crack the carbide sizing ring. And Butch is exactly right.
Right.
And so are you, Mike, with the trick about adding about a matchbook thickness between the two.
So now I take my 9mm, slide it in there.
There you go.
I'm going to run it up. And make sure you've got a clear swing room. I've got a box sitting here that I didn't realize was here. That's in the way. So make sure that you have clear swing room so you can get that all the way. The other thing is make sure you don't have any pinch points along here in your lever so that your press can fully traverse, because otherwise you'll have a silly little ring.
Or a bump point, you mean, on the bottom of that linkage.
That too.
On the back side of the linkage, not on the operator side, on the press side.
Right. So Otherwise, what happens is it stops too short, and then you've got part of your pistol case that's not resized. I mean, you still have part of it that's not resized anyway, just because of the nature of the way the dies are operating. And that was what Kevin was talking about a few weeks ago when we had him on, talking about his roll sizers. So, and why his roll sizer makes a huge difference versus a regular sizing die. Because a regular sizing die, you just can't always get, and you can kind of see, if I can get that, you can kind of see where it's a little shinier than the rest. That's how far down the die went. So.
When's Travis going to buy one of those roll sizers and give us info on it?
I like
been
how you
looking
think.
at them.
Say again, Travis.
So I've been looking at them.
Trenda, what'd you say, dear?
I said I like how Travis think. I mean, not Travis, Jason. Have Travis try it before we buy.
There you go. All right, so here's a quick question. If I'm going to measure my pistol brass,
Yes.
do I measure it before or after I size it?
After.
Why?
Because basically you just made it skinnier and taller when you resized it. It was short and fat, and now it's tall and slim.
Yep. Exactly why. So that's pretty much our brass prep at this point in time. There's one other step, but we don't need to get into that now because that's actually has to do more with actually loading the brass. So next week, we'll talk about priming the brass and going from there. And maybe even charging the case. Depends how many rabbit holes we go down.
Yeah, my apologies.
No, that's fine. It's good information. So if it wasn't, I did have muted you.
Oh, oh, oh. There's another rabbit hole.
Anyway,
Everybody pick on the guy in the green shirt.
that's right. But they can't see I have a green shirt on currently because all they can see is my beautiful red press.
I see your shirt sleeve.
Where? I don't know what you're talking about. So David Emery wants to know, do you guys have a good way to filter out the MaxTech brass?
I think.
Read the head stamps.
Yep, MagTech. I think is what he's talking about.
Now
No, he's
those
Talking
those-
about the one that's got that stupid shelf in it.
Yes, that's the brass that they basically made thicker, and there's a shelf in there, so they could basically use less powder and get the same kind of pressures and velocities out of it. So when we go to load it, if you're not paying attention, you'll overfill it with powder, and they're just a real pain in the butt.
So instead of being a smooth sidewall all the way down, about 2/3 of the way down, there's a, I don't know, Travis, what do you think? 1/10, maybe?
Yeah, that shelf is pretty large, really. It
Sticks out like 1/10 of an inch, and it goes all the way around, and then it goes straight down. So you're really small. You're increasing the pressure by using less powder because you're tightening up your combustion chamber.
I mean, it's a good idea, like commercial wise for them, but for us reloaders, it's just an annoyance.
Yeah, because we have to sort it out. You got to be careful when you pick up range brass.
Yeah, if you're hand loading like on a single stage, you can look in there and see it. Usually, when I catch it, is because on my machine it's overflowing with powder.
So so we'll ask that question when we get to that part about powder. So, and Paul Loud said it's kind of like small primary ACP brass. So anyway, if you have any questions on brass prep that you don't think we covered for pistol and pistol only, go ahead and send us an email at reloadingpodcast@gmail.com or send us a text at 608-467-0308. Or you can call that same number from your cellular telephone and leave a voicemail. So,
Or a landline.
if people have landlines still, that's true. Although, actually, I now have a landline again because my wife works from home and needed the phone. So, I don't know why I'm making smart aleck comments about landlines. Anyway. So, there is one thing that we didn't cover that they're talking about in the chat, and that is Gen 1 and Gen 2 Glocks had this notorious problem for creating a bulge because the chamber wasn't supported. So, I don't know if 3, 4, and 5 have the same issue or not. I know for a fact Gen 1 and 2 do, so I can comment on that. That what happens is it creates a little bulge, essentially, and so it won't size right, so you have to run those through a special die.
And that's because those Glocks have an unsupported chamber, and that's where the bulge comes from. And that is probably one of my biggest complaints with the 40 brass that I have, because I thought I was being smart and I bought like a ton from someplace and found out it was all police firings, and even after you size it, it doesn't get that bulge out.
No, you have to use an absolute specialized die.
Yeah, a bulge buster or roll size it.
Yep.
So to be warned, Jason, whenever you do get that 40 brass.
That's what my 40 is, a Glock. I don't really have a lot of issues with it.
Jason, isn't your G22 Gen 3? It's not real new. You've had it for a few years, right?
Yeah, it was a cop gun, I think, when I bought it.
Okay. That could be G2.
Yeah.
Might have been 2. And
does it have finger grooves?
Shoot, I don't remember, Travis.
Why are you asking him hard questions like that?
Yeah, why you got to ask me difficult questions?
Well, I will give you the benefit. You were drinking a man's drink. You weren't drinking those twisted teas. So we'll say that.
Oh, another shot across the bow.
I know my G23 has the grooves, but I bought it brand spanking, and I want to say it was a Gen 3.
Yeah. So Butch Williams said pass-through sizing die is one of those dies. Some people call them, I think, or no.
They call them bulge buster.
Yeah, they call them a bulge buster, and it's cheaper than getting a roll sizer. So,
but I want Travis to buy a roll sizer and try it out for us.
Well, here's the thing: you guys think that I'm not cheap. I'm actually very cheap and frugal, and I want to just buy the main components of that and build the rest myself because I don't want to spend $1,200 to $1,400 on a roll sizer.
Holy jeez!
And if I could just get the main roll sizing pieces, you can actually. Those were I wasn't on that episode, Mike. Those are not made in America, right? Aren't they from Australia or somewhere?
Yes.
Right, you are.
And if you guys look, you can see what I'm talking about. You can buy the gearbox and motor setup off Amazon for like $180. It's just getting that the actual machined parts that because they're precision ground, basically precision ground components to properly roll size. It's not something I'm going to make in my garage.
So Spiderwire 7777 wants to know, will resizing that bulge weaken the case prematurely? Theoretically, it's not necessarily going to weaken it, but it's more work, so it's more hardening. Yeah. So that would be a reason for annealing pistol brass.
No, you don't. No, pistol brass is too short to anneal.
All right, then.
And where it's getting rid of that bulge, it's
that's true. It's right at the head.
Yeah.
Right at the webbing.
You really don't want to do that.
Then you'd have a gym repeat.
Right.
So anyway, so I mean, anytime you work the brass, it hardens it. So theoretically, I mean, you probably are going to get a couple less firings out of it than you would one that never had that issue. I don't know if it's going to be a serious issue or not. I mean, nobody's really ever tested it. So, I mean, typically handgun pressures aren't as much. So, as a rifle, so theoretically, it really probably won't make a difference. You'll probably crack it somewhere else long before that, or
lose it.
or lose it. Yeah. So
Work hardening will cause split case miles.
yeah. So.
But I have learned one thing about that. A friend of mine I used to shoot NRA pistol league with, NRA Bullseye, and he used to load his 45 ACP ammunition just powerful enough to cycle the action, nowhere near a max load.
Mm-hmm.
He had 45 ACP brass that he had used at least 100 times.
Wow.
Yeah, that's 5,000 rounds out of 100, out of one box of 45 ACP cases.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he was not working the brass real hard.
No. That's like SAS shooters, single action shooting society, cowboy action shooters.
Mm-hmm.
With their loads, their brass lasts forever too because they're not we're pushing it hard. So
There you go, Jason. I think that last.
No, delete that. I'm gonna
sorry,
report
Paul,
it
we
and
can't
block
answer that question. This is a pistol episode. Bring that back up when we're talking about rifle. So
you poopster.
all right, gang. Thank you to all that joined us and gave us likes in the live. Appreciate that. Appreciate all the love on that. If you give us a dislike, please send us an email at reloadingpodcast@gmail.com and let us know why. A couple of weeks ago, there was somebody that made a comment on the first pistol, and I asked for more information. Unfortunately, they didn't respond. So, but we're always trying to make it better. So if you have an issue with us, let us know so we can fix it.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, what?
You might want to consider taking this out of the podcast, but leave it in the YouTube. Do you want to address that issue about buying and selling?
What issue?
RLP 2AO, the admin only group?
No.
Okay. Fine.
So, anyway. So, just send that feedback to reloadingpodcast@gmail.com. And I also want to take time to thank everybody who does send us emails and converses with us and the different groups and that type of thing. So we're on Facebook, we're on MeWe, we're on Discord. So there's a lot of different places, social media wise, to get a hold of us. Otherwise,
MeWe is a good backup.
Yep.
At the moment, but it's growing.
So yeah, it's definitely picking up steam. Discord, we have the Discord link in MeWe, so you can find it that way. Facebook frowns on lots of links, so we don't have that posted there. So
let's see. If you don't mind, let's nurse it long enough for me to find out how many members we have in MeWe.
Okay.
Hey, just real quick, Mike.
Yeah.
Before I knew we were going to do this pistol video stuff.
Yep.
Idaho Rogers and I have been talking about doing a video about pistol, because he's not really a pistol shooter. So if people are interested in us me and Idaho Rogers getting together and doing a pistol reloading video, I'd like for them to tell us which caliber they want, are most interested in.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's one that Idaho Rogers or I have, we'll pick one of those and we'll do a video series on starting like we're doing right now, but we'll do it in video format with video on start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
So just let us know what caliber you want us to do. If that's like 38, 357, 44, whatever, let us know, and then we'll pick one of those.
Where
And
do
we'll
they where do they vote at there, Travis?
Well, I mean, Mike just went through a list. I don't know. Mike will have to tell us where. We just said send info or feedback to such and such. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. Where do they send that to, Mike?
Reloadingpodcast@gmail.com.
Send it to reloadingpodcast@gmail.com.
There you go.
There, I voted.
Well, geez, okay. If I'm just saying right now, if we get a bunch of people saying 40, we're not doing the video.
So for those of you who don't want to see Travis's ugly mug, remember to vote 40 Smith & Wesson.
I guess so. Go over there and vote 40, and I'll show you how to fill potholes in my local neighborhood.
Anyway. Also, a huge shout out to the Patreons. Thank you for continuing to support this and help us be able to do what we do.
I want to give one shout out to Paul Loud.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Why?
Because
What did he do for you?
he didn't do anything for me.
Do you have a man crush on him?
No, I don't want to air his business, but yeah.
He's been slamming us pretty hard, Jason. That's why Travis likes him. Mike, take it off your press.
Why? I like showing off the Lee press.
Yeah, well, nice and red.
That's pretty red.
Well, Idaho Rogers doesn't own a 40 either, so we can't do 40 anyway. So
Well, I'll tell you what, Travis.
I don't want it.
When I get my package, maybe I'll let you borrow my 40.
I don't want it.
It would probably hurt your hands.
No.
They are snappy.
And you'd shoot your eye out.
Oh,
They're real snappy. I used to have one. I just realized I wasn't man enough to shoot it, so I had to sell it.
Well, at least he's honest.
You have a 44 mag?
No, I'll take that one though.
You ain't getting that one.
The funny thing is, there is 44 mag brass in that box.
Nice. How about 500? Have you ever shot 500?
I have not shot a 500.
When I see you, I might have to bring my 500 so you can test it out, and I'll take a video of you shooting it.
Oh, yeah.
You mean you'll take a video of him bouncing with the recoil down the road?
Isn't that what that famous video of that guy at the gun range was shooting? When he was like, Nick, you have to know which video I'm talking about.
Oh, when he accidentally shot it off, and the guy's like, "Did you mean to do that?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like,
Yeah, that one.
I
Yeah.
think that was 44 mag, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. I never found out what caliber that was.
That was, yeah, he was quick with that response too. Yeah, he must do that often.
I hate that we run into we have an indoor range at one of our clubs, and the people that shoot there, it's insane how bad a shot some people are.
It's because you're yanking the trigger.
Not just that, you'll have from 10 feet from the line, we have steel plates at an angle so it comes down. You'll have it from 10 feet from the line, you're hitting steel plate, and somebody's already hit it. It's like, how do you do that? It's
Afraid of your gun.
yeah.
Anyway, Mike, you were signing off. Let's go ahead.
so yeah. Anybody else got any shout outs? Hearing none, I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting. Oh, sorry, wrong thing.
You mean abandon this scat hole?
I wouldn't call it a scat hole. That's insulting scat holes. And on that note, folks, like I'm going to do later tonight, keep your brass shiny.
Keep your flash holes shiny.
It's not a matter of if, but when.
Jump on the Millsap short bus.
Support the Second Amendment. Do what you got to do. Amen. Because it's going to get rough soon.
and teach a lady to reload. She just might like it since Sharonda had to leave early. All right. Good night, all.